Okay, so welcome to Genius Dreams Education channel. Today we are going to continue our lesson on website development. Today we are going to look at a simple way to create a simple sign-up forms using HTML and CSS only. So before you start, please subscribe to my channel, like and share it for me. So first of all, let's create our HTML file and save it. So I'm going to use this HTML file, that is the form1.html, and this is my CSS file, form1.css. So first of all, let's create the content or the structure of the HTML file. So we press on Shift exclamation mark as usual, then enter. So let's make the title of the web page to be, let's say, sign up form. So the next thing is for me to link my external CSS with the HTML file. I'm going to use the link where then I'm going to use the anchor tag, that's the href, to link the external CSS. So the name of the external CSS is form1.css. Then I'll save. So now I've linked my external CSS, which is this one, to the HTML file. So the next thing is for me to start creating the content of the HTML. So first of all, I'm going to start with a div element, and within this div element, I'm going to give a header tag to say something small about the page. So let's say sign up form, or maybe sign up. Then let me give another header tag with the h3. So sign up to join Genius Dreams Education. So sign up to join Genius Dreams Education channel as the next header tag. So let's save and then refresh the page as the form 1 to see how our page looks like. So sign up as the first header tag to join Genius Dreams Education, and this is the title of the page. So let's continue. Let's go back to our code editor and continue with designing. So the next thing is I'm also going to create another header tag, another div element. So within this div element, I'll use the form element to start creating my forms. So I'm also going to use the label element to give label to the forms I'll be creating. So the first label is, I'm going to call the first label as first name. So first name. Then I'll specify the input type I want the user to give. So let me say input type. So the input type, I want it to be in the form of text. Then I'll use the placeholder to create a box or a space for the user to input in the first name. So let me save and then refresh the page to see how the page looks like. So now you can see first name, and this is the placeholder. So this is the label and this is the placeholder where the user is going to put in the his or her first name. So you can just type in any text within the placeholder. So the next thing is for us to get a copy of this form. So I'm going to copy and then paste them. So we are just going to change the text based on what we want the user to fill or put in. So the next thing is for me I'll ask the user to put in his or her last name, And the next thing is the contact. So I want to get the contact of the user. And the contact, the input type is, let's say I want the input type to be only numbers. As you know, contacts are always in numbers. The next one is email. So I want the user to give his or her email, and the input type to be still email, because email sometimes contain a combination of numbers and text. So the next thing is password. I want the user to give in his or her password and specify the input type to be still password, because password sometimes is a combination of letters and so on, letters, numbers, and so on. So the next thing is I also want the user to confirm his password. So confirm password, and the input type to be still password as we did for the first one. So all of them, we are having the placeholder to provide a space for the user to input in the correct or the corresponding information. So the next thing is I want to create a button for the user to click on that button to submit the form when he or she is done filling. So within this form, I'm going to use the value to store a text to tell the user to click on it. So this value, I'm going to use it to hold this text, that's the submit text, to tell the user when he or she is done filling the form, you should click on it to submit. So let me create another paragraph. Let me create a paragraph to ask the user, let's say already having an account. If the user is already having an account, then I'm going to use the href. So already having an account, I'm using the href to tell the user to then log in. So already having an account, then the user should then log in. So now let's save and refresh our page. So now you can see this is all the forms we provided, and already having an account, login is here. You see we use the anchor tag, link is activated. So now let's go back to our code editor. So let me try and create a break here. Let me use the break to provide a space in between the already having an account. So now let's save and refresh. So now you can see we are having our login at the down or at the bottom side of the already having an account. So this is the structure of the HTML file, and the next thing is for us to use the CSS to style or arrange this form to look like a normal form. So let's go back to our code editor and then go to our CSS file. So first of all, we are going to provide the styling with the body. So we go to the body, I'm going to give it an initial padding of 0 pixels, then a margin of 0 pixels, then box sizing of, that's the border box. I can also choose my font family. Then let me align my items center. Let me then justify my content center. And also, I also want to add a background image. Then let me give the background position to the center, and then choose the background sizing to the cover. Now let's save it and refresh the page to see how the page looks like now after this styling property. So let's go and make the correction. So here let's make it the text align center. To text align, let's align our text center instead of the items and save and refresh. So now you can see the text has been aligned at the center of our web page. So the next thing is for us to continue with the styling of this part. So let's go back to our code editor, go to our HTML file. We are going to start with the first div element. We are going to provide the styling for all this. That's the first div element. So we are going to use the class for the styling. So let's call our class as the sign up button. Then let's copy this class name and go to our CSS file and paste it and style it there. So the styling for the class, you first bring your dot and then the name of the class. So after that, then you start styling. So first of all, let's give it a height of, let's say 600 pixels. Let's give it a width of, let's say 350 pixels. Let's give it a margin of, let's say auto, and then a background color of, so for the background color, I'm going to choose this color. Let me use this one. Let's save and then refresh the page. Refresh the page. So now you can see we are having our forms here, which has been arranged nicely as compared to the previous one based on the styling part we gave to the sign up part. So the next thing is for us to provide the styling for this. Let's arrange the forms to be in order or in a different way because this one is not ordered. Okay, so let's go back to our test code editor and come to here. You see this is the next div element. So for this div element, you are going to give it a class and style it as we did for the sign up or the first div element. So we are going to call this class as the form button. Anyway or anyhow you want to call it, you can do same. So for this form button, let's copy this form button and go to our CSS file. It's a class, so first of all we bring the dot and then paste the name. So when you go to the form button, we have the label part and the input part. So first of all, let's provide the styling for the label part. Add the label to it. So for the label, let's give it a font size of, let's say 25 pixels. We are giving the label a font size of 25 pixels and we can also display the content. So let's display it using the flex mode. So let's save and then refresh the page. We didn't save the file name here. So after making the changes, then you save it. Then let's refresh it. Let's make the correction here. Save and then refresh. So now you can see our text has now been arranged. So this is the font size and so on. So the next thing is for us to also arrange the placeholder part. That is the input. So let's go back to our code editor. So we've been able to style the label part. So the next thing is the input. So let's go to the CSS file to and provide the styling for the input part. So let's copy this same thing here and then let's paste it and give the input to it. So for the input, we are going to give it a width of, so for the width, let's set it to about, let's say 250 pixels. So a width of, let's say 250 pixels, and let's give it a height of, let's say 20 pixels. Then let's give it some small margin. So let's say margin right of, let's say 90 pixels. Margin right of, let's say, let me use 80 pixels. Now let's save and refresh. So now you can see how the arrangement looks like for now. So let me just adjust. Let me adjust the margin to more to see the effects. And then refresh. So let's give this one to this. Save and then refresh. So now you can see how the text has been arranged as first name, last name, contacts, email, password, confirm password. So the next thing is so let's adjust the margin right to, let's say 30 pixels to see the effect. So now I think this one is okay as compared to the first one. So the next one is for us to style our submit button. So for the submit button, let's go to our code editor and let's go to our HTML file. So this is the submit button. So we are going to style this one. So let's go to the CSS file. So we are going to use the input, that's the element style of styling. So this time we are not going to use the class. Input type, the input was button. So this time around, we are not using the class mode of styling, but we are using the element for the styling. That is the input element for our styling. So for the input part, we can give it so for the submit button, we can give it a width and at the same time a height and so on. So let's give it a width of, let's say 40 small, let me make it 60 pixels. And then give it a height of, let's say 20 pixels. Then give it a background color to be blue background color. And let me give the text color to be, let's say white. I can also change the cursor pointer because the cursor to pointer because for that one you are done and you want to submit it. So now let's can also give it margin top of let's say 10 pixels. So margin top of 10 pixels to create some small space with the form or to give it a small space with the forms. So now let's save and refresh. So you can see our submit button now. So let me increase the height and the width small and increase the padding to small. So let me make the padding to be let's say 15 pixels. Increase the width to be let's say 70 and then height to be let's say 25 because it looks small for me. Save and then refresh. So I think this one is okay now. So let me change the font weight to bold for it to look more clear. So font weight bold. Let's save and refresh. So now you can see the submit button. So this is a simple way to create this sign up form. You see here accept test and here that's the contact only numbers. And here is the email and the password to when you start typing. Here you confirm your password. After that you click on the submit. So for the submit we change our cursor to pointer. That's why when you send the mouse pointer to the submit it changes as the same as the anchor tag or the link part. So that's where when you come to the code, that's where this is the cursor part, changing the mouse pointer to the hand shift. So this is a simple way to create this sign up form using HTML and CSS only. So in our next lesson we will look at how to use the JavaScript to make these forms interactive. So thank you for being with me. So please subscribe to my channel, like and share to get any new updates on website development. And if you want Photoshop too, you can also get it from my channel. Goodbye.